Okay. Huddle, huddle, huddle. Save, save, save. Build a, build a, build a. Sound money, sound money. Ugly old goat here, and good morning to all of you. The goat lady's coming, but she's fashionably late. She's at our new house, so she actually has to commute a little bit and not just walk across the street. Uh, but she'll be on in a little bit. But in the meantime, I'll kind of address. I've been kind of in a some interesting tweets, and I thought I'd just share that with you guys. If you go to my Twitter account, but what I did is I published George Selgin's uh, criticism of the Bitcoin law in El Salvador. And it was a very well done article and exceptionally well done. And I've known George for, I mean, I've followed him for 40 years. Guys, he's an OG. I am really kind of disappointed because people are attacking him for unwarranted reasons. He is a sound money advocate, a free market money advocate, and also a Bitcoin advocate. Now, he has. Oh, and incidentally, that if you haven't seen that's really a good interview. I have invited Naomi to come on with me. I don't know if she got the message. I just forwarded it to her, but she did a really fantastic interview with George. And you need to understand, guys, a lot of these arguments that the things that you're facing today, these were things that we were going through with the gold standard. And, you know, for example, there's a difference between gold, the commodity, and the gold standard. There was a wide variety of views on, you know, how a gold standard should operate, and from the 100% reserve standard that was advocated by Murray Rothbard, which I know there's a lot of libertarians in the von Mises Institute are from that school of thought. There are others that are like George Selgin, who believes in fractional reserves. I am one that I don't believe in any fixed reserve. So I think, and I don't think George does either, but I'm for, I definitely believe there should be reserves, but it doesn't, in order for Bitcoin to really succeed, we need to relearn what my mentor, E.C. Harwood, called the lost art of sound commercial banking. And that's what we're going through right now, and that's what I see. And I'm really disappointed because people that should know better are attacking a wonderful scholar. And you may not agree with him, but he is a sound money advocate. He's also a Bitcoin advocate. Now, he may not be in favor of the same. When you talk about a Bitcoin standard, his view of what an ideal standard may not be your view, as my view may not be your view. There's a difference between Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard, which will be one of the topics of discussion at the upcoming Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin Standard Conference. So I do recommend. Can you scroll down and hit that article? What I've found is people have just dismissed him without even, really reading the article and seeing what he's saying. Yeah, just scroll down so they can get the article because it's a scholarly article, very thorough. I couldn't write anything this good. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep on going. It's farther down. Yeah, it's farther down. Keep going. It's before that. There you go. Just hit that one. Yeah. This is the article that he did, and it's really very excellent, very thorough. Lots of links, and I do encourage that you go and look at the links. He's not. He's he believes that this bill has some fatal mistakes in it that can be corrected. And everybody just is attacking him because, he basically makes the argument, which, you know what, I agree. The passage of the bill is a bit unseemly. I'm not saying that since Look, I want to see San Salvador become the Hong Kong of America. That'd be great. I'm not. I'm. You know. We're in favor of this thing. It's just that the bill was passed in an unseemly manner, and it was not well conceived, and it was rushed through. And you know I think the basic message that's going on here is, think these things through and be careful and go slowly. And basically, he's done such a thorough article. He has even, suggested how this bill can be substantially improved, and that is basically just by deleting two articles. I think it's number 7 and number 13, and influencing the people that influenced and got this thing through. They should have no objection to that, or either that, or if they disagree with that, then that's a point of genuine, dialogue. But there are such things as in-house debates, and to attack George Selgin as a man who hates Bitcoin and is anti-Bitcoin, he's not at all. You haven't read his work, and you certainly haven't read this article, and you certainly need to look at the interview that Naomi did with him, which I thought she just did a very good job. And what I'm seeing is just a knee-jerk reaction within the Bitcoin community, and it's disappointing, and it turns me off. And I do think the passage was unseemly. I mean, imagine for a moment if the United States Congress has a supermajority and they pass monetary policy, and then they announce it at a trade conference in Shanghai, China. That's not going to go over well, even though it might be perfectly uncorrupt and the best intentions and everything. It just isn't well thought out. And this legislation was rushed and not well thought out. And so the criticism that he has is, if you don't agree with it, well, then at least address it. Don't just dismiss him as being a hater. Look, I guess I'm a hater of Bitcoin now because I think he's right on this stuff. So go down here. I mean, basically, I think his changes that he recommends, is that you really need to get rid of Article 7, which is every economic agent must accept Bitcoin as payment when offered to him by whatever acquires a good or service. Now, I know that sounds really great. Well, I can force McDonald's now to take my Bitcoin. No, that's not what Bitcoin's about, guys. We do this one exchange at a time, and this will backfire tremendously. And I think the other one that he wants to go down to 13, I think it's 12 or 13. Okay. Go down to 13. Yeah. All obligations and money expressed in U.S. dollar existing before the effective date of this law may be paid in Bitcoin. So those are the two articles that says, you get rid of those, and this is a pretty darn good bill. But it says without it, it has some fatal flaws. And, read his articles, understand where he's coming from. And here comes the goat lady. So at any rate, I just want to pass that on because I'm just amazed at the flack that he's getting for just a very well done article, and people are attacking him without any it's purely emotion because there's a knee-jerk reaction. This was such a great thing, but think about it. It was, like I say, what if Congress passed monetary policy and then announced it to the American public at some trade show in Shanghai? That's not going to go over real well, even if it was done properly and was the most sound money legislation in the world. It was not done. It was done in an unseemly way. And I have no doubts that the intentions here of the president of San Salvador are for his people. I have every reason to believe that Jack Mallor and the influencers behind this have every good intention. That's not the issue. You know, the Proverbs tell us the path to hell is paved with good intentions, and good intentions just isn't good enough. It doesn't cut it. Legislation is legislation. Legislation is law. So it has to be carefully constructed and should have been vented much more than it has been. So, and it's certainly not too late. In fact, that's what is being advocated here. The influencers that got this thing through, they're still influencer. Let's get it corrected. And if this is the beginning, well, then let's continue. So you are wondering what I was talking to myself about last night. What was I doing last night?
Oh, he was up almost all night. I say, I don't did that. I don't did that. I say, what my husband did, there's no one else let me know.
Well, I was getting accused of some things, you know, like San Salvador's a dictatorship. No, I didn't say that, but I was getting feedback and pushback from people that live in San Salvador, and they, you know, it really left a bad taste in some people's mouth. I mean, imagine if, I'm here in Mexico, and the whole thing is I'm down here promoting Bitcoin, but I'm not trying to overthrow the government. I'm not trying to influence legislation. I'm trying to just set an example in what we're doing. And that's what community is about. That's how this works, one exchange at a time. I'm not trying to make Bitcoin legal tender in Mexico. And I think that's or at least, like I say, legal tender. It's kind of an oxymoron, but in this case, it's saying, well, you have to take Bitcoin on if you go to a business, an established business, and you offer to pay Bitcoin, they have to take it. There's no such precedent even in the United States. You know, if you go into and try and pay somebody with $500 with, 50,000 pennies or whatever it is, they don't have to take it. They don't have to take your cash. A lot of times people don't want cash because they're in a high-risk, high-crime area. This is a very poorly conceived piece of legislation, and that can be easily fixed and corrected. And, if you don't, if you think that it is correctly conceived, then make the argument. But so far, I have not seen anybody address the issues that George is talking about. Guys, this guy is a scholar that's been, I do see a difference between those of us who existed before Bitcoin and those that have only been in Bitcoin, and they see, they want to force technology down because they have the answer to everything. Well, I'm just not that presumptuous, and I think Bitcoin is a great tool. I think it's extremely useful, and I teach that. But that doesn't mean that, I want to force the guy with the taco stand down here to take my Bitcoin.
Yes, that's it. That's my opinion too for El Salvador. The government just pressing the people. They don't know how use. They don't know how handle. They don't know anything about.
It's really presumptuous and arrogant, and it's a pretense of knowledge. And this is why, a lot of and this is very Rothbardian and not Hayekian at all. But there were the same schools that were going back 40 years ago.
Marcela, she's told me that she's have a sister in El Salvador, and I asked to her, can you think that I can talk with her a little bit, something about what is going on with Bitcoin down there? And she's called her a little bit, but she said that she's not know much about, and her husband gave the opinion to her and told her they are a risky pyramid, risky inversions.
It's risky.
Yeah,
it is
inversion.
risky.
Yes, but
it's not right.
They are not using yet.
Right.
But they don't know much about Bitcoin, and that's my worry too. Because when you don't know much about anything, and you have afraid, you have
Right.
afraid for
And
invest, you
so
have afraid for
and that's why
buy.
this thing should have been discussed. And like I say, it just, I mean, like the analogy I gave, what if, what if Mexico passed some kind of substantial monetary policy, and then they go to Miami to announce the policy at some trade conference? Or the analogy I give, what if the United States did the same thing and passed some major policy issue on money, and it goes to Shanghai, China, to announce uh, the new monetary policy? I mean, I'm not saying there's anything corrupt there. That's just really bad. It's unseemly. That's not, really a huge political mistake. I know it got all the Bitcoiners excited in Miami. But it's really, there was a book once written called The Ugly American. And that's what we're turning, are Bitcoiners really any different? It makes me wonder if it's just the same old, same old. So, at any rate, like I say, guys, you want to jump on here with me and discuss this thing? I'm willing, but
Patrick said if
uh,
he wanted to jump
yeah,
in.
okay, well, he can come on. Patrick and I, he's been on the Twitter feed, and we've been, we're not at each other's throats, but he certainly thinks it's it might be a start, but if it's a start, then what's wrong with continuing on the right path? Why not recognize that there's some things that could be substantially fixed and work in that direction? So that's where I'm at. So tell me about what's going on. I'm hopefully the website should be ready by the next time you come on.
Okay,
So
I hope
what's
so.
going on with the conference?
But we want to share with everybody that we keep going. We are preparing everything. The website is off per little bit, but
It's up. It just
yeah,
doesn't have all the features on it I want.
yes,
before
we
I
are
really promote
fixing
it.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are renewing things and set up things more things for the people can see pictures, video, and for everything the conference will be. We are excited. We are so excited
Oh, I'm
about
really
the
excited.
conference.
And like I say, to me, I mean, this is going to be a very exciting conference because we're going to hit some of the hard issues. There's one of the issues that we'll be talking about at the conference is the difference between Bitcoin and the Bitcoin standard. And we had the same issue 40 years ago when we were, looking at, okay, restoring the gold standard. What is a gold standard? There's a difference. The gold standard is not gold, it's a gold standard. Bitcoin standard is not Bitcoin, it's a Bitcoin standard. So
Okay,
right.
I'm expecting for that answer too.
Right. Well, it's not an easy one, and we're not going to find the solutions, but by dialogue and by discussion, we can make substantial progress. And it's very disturbing to me that so many in the Bitcoin community have a knee-jerk reaction to George Selgin's article, which is, if it's not well done, well then attack it on that basis. But nobody has done that yet. Everybody's attacking his motives. They're attacking. He really hates Bitcoin, and no, he doesn't. I've read Selgin for years. I read him before I ever went, way back in the 1980s. And he was Richard Timberlake, and who else was the other guy that died? There was a movement, a sound money movement before Bitcoin. And yes, Bitcoin's the innovation. Yes, it's a great tool. But don't think technology alone is going to solve the monetary problems here. There's a lot more to it, and there are different schools of thoughts and different approaches. And I still have not fully embraced Lightning. I'm open to it, but I'm starting. This is not open. I'm like this right now. Wow, what's going on here? So I just it's a great discussion. Read the threads and listen to what's going on here, and let's we need more information will be coming, and hopefully this discussion that these issues that he brought up will be considered. And maybe they need to be thrown out. I can't see any reason why yet, but that's what's going on here. So anyway,
Yeah. What is the motorist?
huh?
I don't know.
Is it going on?
I don't know.
All right. Well, that's okay. I mean, people can look at it for themselves, and that's. Scroll up to the beginning. We'll see if there's any new comments. I mean, I can actually tweet live here if you want, but go up here and see if there's any. Hit the bell button up there.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, see if we got any. Okay. All right. Yeah, Patrick, come on. We love to have you. So, please. Okay. Right. Okay. So that's it, guys. I mean, I'm like I say, I've read George Selgin for years. He's a free market money, sound money advocate, solidly in the Hayek camp, which I am. Okay, and he's not going to agree with other people in the Bitcoin movement that embrace certain things, and I get it. I mean, I'm not for 100% reserves, but Bitcoin will never work as money if that's going to be the case. There is such a thing as the creation of non-inflationary purchasing media, and the market actually was the one that both created it and retired it. If we allow the market to work, it will do just fine. And that's a very difficult concept to understand because we all want to force the issue. And I get it. Bitcoin's a wonderful tool, but the ends don't justify the means. We do have to be careful in what we're doing. San Salvador has a terrible monetary history, a terrible history of corruption. I mean, they were at the Ron Paul meetings way back in the 70s and 80s, and it was just they were fighting communism, and it was family feuds, and all, and they don't have the foundation that we have now. Maybe they do now, and that's wonderful. That's great. There's nothing more that I'd like to see than San Salvador become a jewel of America. That's what I think Ensenada is here in Mexico. I think that Ensenada is the jewel of the Baja, and it has a history of that's actually even different from Mexico. And I'm not down here trying to, throw my weight around and force Mexico to accept Bitcoin as legal tender. If I was, I would probably not be welcome here.
Yes, I'm sure that.
It's not none of my
I'm
business.
sure that. Yes.
And so, I think I'm disappointed because there's Bitcoiners out there that are really becoming pretentious and arrogant in their righteousness. And yes, we are for sound money, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And this is what I think George's message is: slow down and do it right. And if you don't think he's doing it right, well, then please meet his objections. Please tell us why this is the right thing to do, because he's given some very good reasons why it's not. And that's not just theoretically, it's from a pragmatic point of view. I mean, I'm getting the other view. Well, we got to be pragmatic. Idealism is one thing. George is not coming from a idealistic view. He's taking a very pragmatic view of it. And to say that is just, I mean, read what he's saying before you open your mouth. And that's, and that's all I have to say. And I want to take my hat off. I really didn't know who Naomi was, but she did an excellent interview, and apparently she's been a long time student of George, and which, anybody that was for sound money before Bitcoin came along would there he is. So say hello. There he is. Yeah, Patrick and I have been at
Hello.
each other at Twitter a little bit, but so that's why this conference is going to be so much fun. I'm going to go use the boys' room, so I'll let you talk.
Okay. Okay.
Can you get Patrick there?
Yeah, he's connecting the audio.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear anything you
Hi,
guys
good
said.
morning.
Hey, good morning. Good. I guess it's good afternoon here in New Hampshire. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. Good afternoon for
nice
you.
good
Okay.
afternoon, Goat Lady. I've been hearing you guys talking, and I really feel like I should jump on and just kind of explain myself. I just want to get a few things right. I'm not mad. I'm not upset with Ugly at all. I don't think he said anything that makes him against Bitcoin. But I think he's wrong about George Selgin. George Selgin is absolutely anti-Bitcoin, and I know that he tries to come off as no, I'm not against Bitcoin. I'm a sound money guy, this and that. But I've listened to this guy talk, and he's I could sniff people who don't like Bitcoin. They can say they like Bitcoin, but I can kind of tell George Selgin is not a friend of Bitcoin, and I want to make sure Ugly Old Goat understands that. And I'm not talking about
Yeah, no, I know you
George.
made that statement. That and
Yeah,
I haven't seen any evidence of that at all. In fact, I take him at face value that he is a friend of Bitcoin. It's just that he doesn't have the view that a lot of Bitcoiners have. I know that his view is substantially different from Saifedean,
right.
which is fine. I understand Saifedean much more comes from the Murray Rothbard 100% reserve view. Uh, I also share Selgin's view that I could be wrong, but a lot of people in Bitcoin think that Bitcoin is going to become the world reserve currency. I don't think that. I don't share that. I've written about it numerous times. I used to think that was a possibility, and then, I went back and read more of Hayek, and Hayek certainly did not believe that. I do believe that Bitcoin offers competition to government currencies, and that is what actually is a huge force to bring back sound money to governments. That if, like I say, the big risk in the future is not exchange risk, but jurisdictional risk. And in that sense, I mean, my hat off to San Salvador. I really want to, I mean, I would love to spread jurisdictional risk to other jurisdictions, and I know it's one of the provisions they have. You can actually become a resident of San Salvador for 3 Bitcoin, which is a whole lot different immigration policy than the United States has. So,
Yeah.
but there, like I say, there's really yeah, I mean, I don't see where you're coming from that
Sure.
George Selgin, because he himself says I'm not against Bitcoin. But he
Right.
just doesn't agree with probably what your view of a Bitcoin standard is. There's people believe in Bitcoin and don't necessarily agree on what a Bitcoin standard is. Those are
Well, I
two
don't want to
different
get. I
things.
could talk to you about 100% reserve or not, or Bitcoin standard, but I don't want to get too much in the weeds. At least not yet. We can cover that stuff a little bit later. But let me just specifically talk about this issue regarding Article 7 and Article 13. Now, what George Selgin is saying is what we need to do as Bitcoiners. The best way we can help these people of El Salvador is we need to go to whatever his name is, Bukele. I don't know how to say it. We got to go to Bukele. We got to tell him, you know what, this is a great law, but just repeal these 2 sections of law, and then we'll be a friend to the people of El Salvador. We'll be. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not. If I talk to Bukele, I'm not going to tell him to repeal Article 7 and Article 13. What I am, if I wanted to do something to help the people of El Salvador, there's plenty we could do to help them. Then there are people that are doing that. We can go down there. We can donate I guess Jade Wallet by Blockstream They're trying to do something. I think Samson Mao was trying to get together a bunch of Jade wallets to donate to the people of El Salvador to help them, find a way to secure their Bitcoin. There's plenty we can do to help these people. If there's someone who's selling mangoes on the corner, and they're scared about Bitcoin, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know if we can help them.
but we're not just that's the issue. We're for that. That's not the issue. Why? What part of this issue do you not understand? The issue is if you have to accept Bitcoin. That is the issue. And in every exchange, we have an exception for a while, but basically, if you're an established business there, I can literally, with the passage of this bill, I will go to McDonald's and force them to accept the Bitcoin, even though they don't want to.
Yes.
That's the issue.
Right,
And you don't see. I have a problem with that. And I think it's a major issue that it's why not if
the issue I would have as an anarchist, is that's legislation. So if I'm going to get libertarian purist, I'm going to say all legislation is immoral.
It's not. It's a matter of what's good legislation and bad legislation. What he's saying is it was ill-conceived and unseemly. The passage was unseemly, and the legislation was ill-conceived. I think he's correct. I think, and he say it's fixable. And
we don't know for sure, but from all I've seen, Bukele has extremely high approval ratings in El Salvador. So it's not like he's doing.
So does Obama. So did Trump. That's a political issue. Come on. Yeah. Why are you avoiding the issue?
But that's a political. That's a political issue.
The monetary issue is you have to accept Bitcoin for a transaction. He says, just take that out. What's the problem with that? You've got all the influencers there. Why can't we even discuss it? Why is he an enemy of Bitcoin for proposing that? That's not being an enemy. I'm sorry.
I'm all in favor of discussing it. I'm just saying I'm not going to do what he says. He tells me to do. He wants me to go to Bukele and tell him not to. Now, the only reason I brought up the politics is because your objection was...
We don't have to go to him. The very fact that we're discussing it, it will make its way to. That's how intellectual discussions start. I'm not going to be talking, but I'm the one that's raising it. And you know what? Hopefully, this instead of knee-jerk reaction about what I'm saying, let's discuss it. It will be taken into account.
So,
and we've done all we can do. But why is there a knee-jerk reaction against it? I just don't see that at all.
Ugly. I want you to talk to a friend of mine that I hadn't seen.
Well, he's welcome to get on. I don't need. I'm not doing this in secret or anything.
No. Yeah, I actually messaged him, said, I wanted you to talk to my friend Ugly. So I hadn't seen him in 6 years. I just met him again in Pork Fest. We had a panel together. A brilliant guy by the name of Peter St. Ange. He works with the Heritage Foundation, and he's written for the Mises Institute. And he's a longtime member of the Mises Institute. So very, very, very well, smart economics professor. And he thinks this law is great. So I would love it if you would talk to him and run your objections by him.
Yeah, no, I think he should address it then. So, I mean, it doesn't take
and he's open to
I'm not the
addressing
scholar, but he can certainly address. I'd love to read an article on it. Or
I'll send him. I don't know if he can jump on because it's kind of short notice, but I'll send him the Zoom link, and if you and him could talk later.
Well, I'm not in any hurry of this. Look, I'm not in any hurry of this. I'm saying, I think the primary message is let's slow down and be more careful. That's what's wrong with that message. I know everybody.
And then the message, do you want to say that you are not agree? I saw that everybody are forced to accept Bitcoin for buy anything, any merchandise. The businesses had to accept Bitcoin. That's a big issue, but there is a problem that you are addressing. Right?
I think it's great that they have the I wish it had just been discussed more. It should have been. I think it was not well conceived, not thoroughly vetted. And it certainly was. unseemly in the way that's done. Not saying there was anything. I get accused now that I'm saying it was a corrupt regime. No, that it's a dictator. No, I haven't said that. I'm the
No,
one
but
being put
can be
into a
probably in
box.
some point can be a dictator.
So
But because they don't know anything about Bitcoin.
no,
And how you forced
Well,
to use
and
Bitcoin because it's the
I
law.
I retweeted somebody from San Salvador says, we don't want you guys coming in and running our country. Well, you know what? That really not the best intentions. You still it just comes across wrong. It's unseemly. It's very inconsiderate. And it's not, I know you have these, well, we want to get lightning through. Well, we want to do this and we want to do that. You know what? There is such a thing as patience. There is such a thing as doing things in the correct manner. And I think that's the message I'm getting. I have never read anywhere that George Selgin is anti-Bitcoin. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. And he is just sending out a message of caution and rethinking. And, I hate to see this kind of knee-jerk reaction to someone who has earned his stripes in sound money, in monetary freedom, and in Bitcoin. But 30 years before a lot of these people, that are the experts now, and I think it's very, very presumptuous, and I think it's elitist almost to that point. So that's my view. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
I hope everything go well and people accept probably slowly and they understand Bitcoin and they can do the best that they can. But it's my best regards for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm encouraging. If somebody, I think it was Ramos, said it's a start. I said, okay, great. If it's a start, then let us continue. Let us continue and address the issues and be careful and try and do things right. If it's a start, the argument that Selgin is making, without these changes, it's not a start. And it's got some major problems in it. And I don't think that's clear yet, but I think he's articulated it well. And I just think, I'm sorry, he's raised a legitimate concerns that I think should there's no reason why it shouldn't be addressed. It just isn't. And like I say, the discussion itself, if it's conducted instead of pointing fingers and name calling, which he did not do. And if you have a rational discussion, then that is what will educate people, and that colloquy will make its way through and eventually have a political influence too. And that's what he's advocated. And I don't see how that's hating Bitcoin. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's not name calling to state that someone's an enemy of Bitcoin. I'm just pointing out that he is an enemy of Bitcoin. So we should be careful.
Well, I don't think. Saying that, I read all of his stuff. He says he isn't, and I read his stuff. I mean, you're saying he is, and I'm going to take him at face value.
No, take him at his word. That's
accusations.
fine.
Maybe you'll prove me right. Maybe he's the worst enemy Bitcoin's ever had. But you know what? I have to take people initially at face value. And
absolutely.
He says he is not, and he's never come across that way to me in any of the things that he's done.
So the issue with El Salvador isn't so much payments; it's actually remittances. El Salvador gets a lot of their income into their country from remittances from other countries like the United States.
Yes.
Yeah, and these are small payments. These are they're not several. It's not a $50,000 wire.
Yes.
This is a $100 payment.
Yes.
And with this, using Strike would be a huge.
You know what? How I'm looking at it, this is almost like Bitcoin Cash all over again. And this, I don't see Bitcoin as being useful cash. Now, I understand. I haven't
Sure.
embraced Lightning yet. I know everybody
Right.
wants me to, but you haven't
Right.
gotten through to me yet. I'm open to it. I haven't dismissed it, but this is not making it easier on me.
Right.
This turns me off because I go, oh, what's really going on here? And I do understand markets, and I do understand that there's an arbitrage going on. I understand what Jack Maller's doing, and it's great. He's going to run an arbitrage operation, but it's not free. And every business there, they're going to have to take Bitcoin, and they're going to use the most convenient way to get dollars or whatever else they want.
I believe,
There's some issues here that are so obvious that nobody wants to look at.
I believe Strike.
I'm sorry, but if there are financial interests that are influencing legislation, which okay, maybe it's great. I'm not dismissing that, but why is this not open to? Why is somebody just completely dismissed as being an enemy of Bitcoin when he raises legitimate points? I'm sorry.
He said Bitcoin will never
there.
be used as money, and now it's being used as money, and he's upset about it. Because he was proven wrong 2 years after he said Bitcoin will never be used as money. Now it's not only is it being used as money, it's legal tender. I'm telling you, I was with you, Ugly. I was with you. I was like, you know what? Forget payments. Who cares about payments? We're looking for long-term storage. But I don't think that we Bitcoiners should cede the payments narrative.
I don't have a problem with that. You know what? That's not the issue. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, we don't need to see
the
it.
issue
We don't need to say.
The issue is,
go ahead.
this is beyond even, he's just outlined it. It's more than any other legal tender. They're saying you have to accept it. We don't even have that in the United States.
Well,
we do it for
the case, right? The law
debts,
doesn't say
but not for you're talking about spot transactions,
right?
You're talking about spot transactions.
Like the only argument I hear from you, Ugly, because the law doesn't force anybody to accept Bitcoin. The only argument I'm hearing from you is a purity argument. And if you want to go down the purity argument road, argument road. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with going purist. If you're going to go purist, all legislation violates the non-aggression principle. I think the fact that it was even a law is a violation of the non-aggression principle.
Well, it's not. I mean, I'm sorry you view me as being a purist, but I don't see it that way. It's not practical. And, I guess the market will decide.
It's the only argument you're saying.
That's the beauty of the thing.
Because it's not actually, it's not forcing anyone to accept Bitcoin. And you know that. It's not forcing anyone to accept Bitcoin. So the only argument is a purity argument that you don't like the way the law is written. But in practice, the law is not forcing anybody to accept Bitcoin. You know that, right?
Yeah,
You've already said that.
El Salvador government, them are forcing every business for accept Bitcoin.
But
there are exceptions, goat lady.
Well, right, there are exceptions, but if you're not a legitimate business, but you're going to force McDonald's to take that, and they even argue that.
That's awesome. That's the fucking Trojan horse.
Yeah,
I love that.
Good
Every company is going to take Bitcoin now. I love that.
All right.
Every big company has to take
we got it straight. Just so you understand that, and you think you've done a moral victory. I don't. You haven't persuaded.
It's a guerrilla tactics.
You need to
we got to do the
hearts
guerrilla
and
tactics back to
Just
them.
because you think is right doesn't mean you force it on other people. You persuade people with their hearts and minds, and it's not leaving a good taste in people's mouths. I'm sorry. I hope you're right. I hope everybody goes down there and just acts perfectly down in San Salvador, but that's not you've studied history enough that that's not how it worked. That's not that's not how Hawaii worked. That's not how all the banana republics work. I mean, great. Bitcoin. Oh, we're this generation. We have Bitcoin and we're going to be better than all the past generations. I don't.
Russia is. Russia.
The problem is, we're by still nature. We're evil people, and we want limited government. And you see. I mean, I just saw it so ironic that Ron Paul was getting up there say, "Yeah, I've worked on getting rid of legal tender," which George Selgin, he's worked on that for 40 years, and now we get a. We just made Bitcoin legal tender and everybody's celebrating it. Isn't there?
Now
I'm just saying, hey guys, step back and look at yourselves.
now the U.S. actually has a legitimate motivation to get rid of legal tender laws. So maybe this El Salvador law can actually make it easier to get rid of legal tender laws here. So this
Yeah,
is actually going to help Seljan's case.
All right. Well, yeah, like I say, about my difference is you think that the ends justify the means. I don't. So I think that there's a right way to do it, and it's not even too late. I mean, why are you objecting to the discussion? Why are you objecting? I'm not going to be writing the president and say add these two things, but just me discussing it and bringing it out to the forefront, I'm getting all kinds of flack for it. And I said George Seljan is a sound money advocate. George Seljan is a Bitcoin advocate. He is not an anti-Bitcoin. He's against people that want to force Bitcoin. Yeah, I am too.
You listen to his debate with Saifedean, obviously. How can you think that
what is this? Oh, this is going to be a fun conference. I can tell that. So
yeah, absolutely. I would love to continue this discussion in person. I did send Peter the link to the Zoom, but he hasn't responded, so I don't know if he even saw it. But I don't know if he's going to come on.
These things. This is great stuff, and I'm glad you're in. I mean, you know me and I know you, so we can sit here and beat each other's throat and still walk away and be friends. That's kind of the difference between men and women. We can get in a fist fight and then an hour later we're friends again. But boy, a woman never forgets.
Yes. We can both be drinking and get into a fist fight, and we'll be best friends the next day. I get that. Yeah, absolutely. Although you would probably kick my ass.
I don't think so. Not anymore.
30 years my senior, you'd probably kick my ass.
Anyway.
So I'm going to jump off here. I did, again, if you're going to keep staying on, it's possible Peter may jump on.
I'm glad because I want to lift up the discussion. That's the whole point. This, to me, the only thing we can do is shine light on the issue, and that's what we do. And I think everybody involved. I invited Jack Maller and who is not McMaster. Anyway.
I was going to say if he, in case he doesn't jump on today, I have his information. I can try to put you two together so that you can confer a time that you can come on and discuss. I would rather the economics professor talk about this with you than me, because he's probably.
I'm a layman, and that's why I say that's what I'm saying is let's hear. But my passion. I mean, I love reading history. I love reading economics, and I'm not the scholar, but most of this stuff is just common sense. And I just when you start thinking about this, I have severe reservations, and I've outlined why. And it's not I'm not against what the process down there. They've improved. It looks like substantially. Believe me, I was talking to people in San Salvador 40 years ago, and they were in the midst of a horrible civil war. And so I'm glad that that's been overcome, and I do hope that I think sound money can really be an answer for them. And I'm not opposed to that at all. I love to see them become the jewel of set an example. But I think that the criticism here is well founded, and it should be addressed. Maybe it should be addressed and dismissed, but that's not what I'm hearing. I'm just hearing a knee-jerk reaction. Oh no, George Seljan hates Bitcoin, and I know that's not true. So he doesn't hate sound money. He doesn't hate monetary freedom. He's been at this a lot longer than any Bitcoiner, I guarantee it. And he's and maybe he didn't. I don't know all of his views, but I know his views fairly well. And I thought this particular article was very well written, and it needed to raise the issue, because I just think we have people blindly going into something that was, ill-conceived and not given the thought that it should have been, and certainly not done in a way that looks good in my mind. Now, maybe that'll all change. Maybe we'll go down there and the Bitcoiners will be the best example of everybody in the world. But you know what? I found in Mexico, it doesn't work that way. What happens is they build an expatriate society that's separate from the culture. And I don't live in an expatriate community. My wife, fortunately, couldn't stand it. And so I've adopted to the culture, and really I'm involved with what's going on down here. Not to the degree I should be, because I don't speak the language, but in every other way, I do. I mean, I'm the great. Everybody
You
knows who I am in
understand
town.
how go to the taco stand and ask for taco.
So I just,
Well,
I just have a view that George has raised
I
some
think-
great issues that should be addressed, and nobody should have attacking him for from raising some really good. It was a really good issue,
Yeah. I was going to say Peter St. Onge, I think he can speak like 4 or 5 languages, including Spanish, pretty fluently. So he would, he might do well in Ensenada or any other community in Mexico. So.
All right.
I'm gonna log off here.
Well,
Ugly.
thanks for
It was
coming
really
on,
nice to
and
have
we
this.
can
Yeah.
continue our Twitter storm,
Sure.
and it's always
Yeah.
nice to have friendly Twitter storms, and it's okay to disagree. I don't have any problems with that. So,
Yeah, and then, yeah.
All right.
all right,
Thank you. Good to see you,
Bye.
lady.
Bye.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
all right.
Okay.
So, yeah, Patrick is going to be one of the panelists and also one of the moderators at the upcoming conference. So, and he's actually been on one of the adventure tours with us when we went down to Bahia de Los Angeles. He was not prepared for it at all. But,
Hey guys, if
yeah.
you wanna come to the adventure tour, please bring good tennis shoes or boots, one good pants, a sweatshirt, because sometimes it's a little bit hot, sometimes it's a little bit cold, but we have helmets for everybody to come. But bring some good shoes.
right.
Pants
You'll
and
get dirty. It's going to be very
You
safe.
will be dirty.
You will get
dirty,
dirty.
dirty, dirty. Probably
you
in your life you never be that dirty.
You take home
But
a little bomb.
it's the adventure. It's a great thing. You will enjoy. Either if you finish all dirty, you will enjoy be dirty in that time.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. So what's going on new? What have you been working on this conference?
Oh.
You need, because I haven't been updated since the last time we did.
Yeah.
this.
We have a lot of details. I had to address up with Christina. Oh, I hope we can have Christina next show.
I think next week, yeah.
Next
we're going
week.
to,
Okay,
hopefully the
next week.
website will be up Thursday. We'll start promoting it. And then after July 4th, we want to have her on. Now, initially, just so everybody can see, who's our event coordinator. And then after that, she just needs to be on with the people that are actually attendees, because
Yes.
you need to
And
coordinate.
she's
You'll need to
helping
coordinate with
about
her.
everything. For anybody had problems at during the conference, if you need something, you can ask them, and we will be there for everybody. Okay?
Yeah, she's a real sweetheart. I'm so glad that we found her. So, any rate, it's all coming together.
Yes, and I hope, guys, because sometimes people thinking, oh, the web page is not working. Probably they throw
No,
out
the website's
everything.
working. It just needs to be updated. We're doing some changes, and
We are
actually
doing
Shibley
changes,
couldn't get
yeah.
to it. He had some family things. He just can't get to it till tonight. So hopefully we'll have it all. I'm looking forward to. a
Yeah, but
big
we are
show tomorrow.
excited. We are
Yeah.
excited. We're still working either. If you don't see us in front of the camera, we are doing things, but we are working. Everybody, we are working.
Yeah.
We are preparing. We are checking details, the food, the drinks, the dinner, the events,
And it's-
everything.
the website, let's see, Eddie's not here. I'd have him pull it up, but the website is Bitcoin Conference, BitcoinStandardConference.com. And right now, you can get the entire package for $19.95, and that is for 5 days and 4 nights, accommodations included. And we will also, if you fly into Tijuana, we will pick you up there, or if you want to drive to the border and walk across, we'll be picking you up there, and we'll take you back for your flight or to get back on Sunday. So, oh, can you put up the website there? Yeah. And so that's what we're going to be doing there. And if you can, right now, the website's functionable. So if you're you're going to go, just punch one of the speakers' names and get a ticket that way. And that speaker will get you'll get a 15% discount, and he'll get a small little affiliate code because he's bringing somebody to the conference. But we do expect it will be sold out rather quickly. So with the 15% discount, it's actually $16.95, and I don't think there's just no way you can do all that we're doing here and get that price and then have it be a top-notch conference too. So it's a great bargain. The room will be, at least the conference will be for two. We'll probably have to, you'll be charged a little bit more if your significant other goes to the ranch, depending upon what they want to do. But that's the way it works. So yeah, go up there and show them how it works. Go hit hit panelists. Okay, just scroll down. We'll get, since Patrick was on, we'll punch his name so he can show you how you can order. I think he's on there somewhere. Is Patrick on there? He may not be yet. I think he is. Let's see. Patrick. There he is. Okay, hit Bitcoin Motors. So if you want to support Bitcoin Motors, there it is. You just do that and then scroll down. You got it. Now there's his picture and it says register for conference. Hit that. That takes you to where you order, and it'll automatically, you scroll down, you can see where you fill in the blanks. Okay. Whoops, scroll up. And that's where you fill in the blanks. It has his referral code on there. Oh, does he not have a referral code? It should show up.
Oh, he does. Well,
He does.
we'll make sure everybody.
Yeah, we got to make sure everybody has one. I'm not sure he does, so it should show up, I believe. Do tone, because I know his shows up. These are the little bugs that we still need fixing. And okay, let's go back. All right, hit tone.
Tone, I think, shows up.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. So we got to go through everybody because I don't think Gold Lady has a referral code. There it is. So there it is. That should show up. Once you see that referral code, then you'll get the 15% discount. So that's how you do it. And like I said, we're not really promoting because we have like speakers that don't have referral codes. We're going to have to fix that tonight, and that's how you do it. And at any rate, it's going to be great. It will, right now we're limited to a total of 100, and we'll probably be limited to about 180 or 200. We're hoping it'll open up. But if the plan now is that the price will stay where it's at through July 4th.
Here is the
And then after that, we're going to raise the
free
price.
schedule, if you will.
Yeah, $24.95. We're going to raise it $500 if you don't order in the next week. So that's where we're at. All right, I think we have covered it. Anything else you want to cover?
No, only we are expecting everybody to come and enjoy the time with us.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Oh.
Yep. Oh.
Patrick?
Oh, there's got somebody. There we go. Peterson
I
on.
guess they want to talk about.
Okay. We got somebody coming on.
Yep.
All right.
1 minute.
Ugly, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got a guy, Peter.
Okay. I think Peter was trying to get on. He was.
He's on. Yeah, we got his picture on.
Okay, I can't hear you. I don't know what's wrong with my.
Hello.
But he was trying. Peter said he was trying to jump on.
Yeah, he's on. We see him.
I had to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to go, guys. I
All
can
right.
see you later
Well,
on.
thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I will bring more news next time. Hi.
Hello, Peter. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Mute. What's the problem? Does he have to unmute himself?
Yeah, he has to.
You
I'm
need to
good, I'm
unmute.
good.
There
Sorry
you
about
go.
that.
I got it now. All right. There you are.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, we're doing good. Yeah, you were recommended by Patrick. So here you are, and here I am. So yeah,
Good,
I kind
good.
of started a little
Here I
tweet
got.
storm within the Bitcoin community, and I'm an old fan of monetary freedom and George Selgin, and I just don't see, I think he's coming in under unwarranted attack, and I'm his defender. I love George. I love his writings. He's been a sound money, free market money man ever since I can remember. And he certainly doesn't hate Bitcoin, and I take everybody at face value. He says he doesn't. And so, I don't know what the problem is. I thought he wrote a very good piece, and, and I think his arguments are well founded. And I think, the the legislation was just kind of passed in an unseemly manner and not well thought out, but it's not too late to be fixed or corrected or at least discussed. And so that's what I'm here for. And I've just been kind of under attack because, oh, you're defending somebody that hates Bitcoin. And I don't, George isn't here to defend himself, but I read enough of him. I know who he is and what he thinks pretty much. So what's up? Where am I off base?
All right, so George and Larry White. Okay,
Yes.
Both have been advocating for private money for a long time.
And Richard Timberlake, who died a few years ago. Yeah, I knew all of these guys, so I'm the old guy. I'm in their camp.
Yeah, so I think what's happening is just it's taking some time for them to get their heads around Bitcoin. Bitcoin is new. It's structured really differently than private currencies. So I mean, I've been gentle in my debates with George and Larry. I think philosophically they're with us. They just got to get used to some of the details on Bitcoin. Specifically, they get hung up a lot on the volatility. Now, I think the volatility goes away over time as Bitcoin assumes its final form.
Okay.
But yeah, right now there's volatility.
Yeah. See that I don't know if you're familiar with E.C. Harwood, but he's my mentor, and so where I'm coming from is actually the viewpoint that we've actually lost what he called the art of sound commercial banking. A lot of these debates that we're having now in Bitcoin, these are the same debates that we're having over gold and the gold standard 40 years ago. And it's the same concept. Murray Rothbard, he was 100% reserve. I got really called out on that one, but Milton Friedman actually wrote me a letter because I called Murray Rothbard a gold socialist because he wanted to impose 100% gold standard on the entire nation. I said, that won't work. And so I'm a big believer. I don't think, and reading Hayek, that Bitcoin is it's a worthy speculation. It's not sound money. It's a lousy store of value, and it sucks as cash. Now, maybe that'll change. Maybe San Salvador has the solution. They'll be adopted as cash. But in the past, the solution has come through commercial banking, which actually emerged in the marketplace. And it was actually the invention, which was, again, I think it was the Bitcoin of its time, and that was the discovery of self-liquidating commercial paper, where it's the marketplace that actually determines the money supply. And so you have, the money supply would expand or detract, and it was basically, the banks were formed by merchants, by producers, and that's what the gold standard was about. And so we still have these things like reserves. I know that George Selgin does not believe. He believes in fractional reserves. Well, I don't believe in fixed reserves. I don't have any problem with fractional, but I don't. Once a government starts to fix it, that's when you start having problems again. But
for sure.
But I think all of these. My objection to this thing right now is he's being cut out of discussion when he's made an extremely worthy argument, and I don't think he doesn't deserve that kind of criticism. He needs to be taken at face value. He's not. He says I'm not opposed to Bitcoin. I'm a supporter of Bitcoin. I'm not on this team of where a lot of Bitcoiners are going, and I don't have a problem with that. There's a big difference between Bitcoin and what the Bitcoin standard is. Saifedean wrote a great book, which gave us a great intellectual foundation, but it's not the end all of end alls. I think he leans more towards Rothbard and 100% reserve and that. But anyway, have at it. Tell me what's going on.
All right. Okay. So the first thing to sort of establish here is that when we talk about what I think Selgin is interested in, a gold-backed system, those days are gone. Maybe they're coming back. Something I've highlighted over and over is that gold cannot stand up to the government, right? I mean, there were many startups. In fact, just right before Bitcoin, there were a whole bunch of startups that were trying to do gold. So you would have gold in your account, and then you would have maybe a credit card or something like that. All of these were crushed. All right. So if we're comparing,
I know that.
gold,
Believe me, I know. I don't know if you
for
know my
sure.
background at all, but I know that. Okay.
Yeah, even Bernard von Nothaus. Well, that was pretty innocent.
I know
right?
Bernard gave. Yeah. Well,
For sure.
Okay.
They were rabid.
all
So
right.
that's right. So that's like the first point here, right? If we're comparing gold to Bitcoin, gold is not an option. Why not just compare angels to gold? It has been hunted so hard by governments
I'm not debating. Yeah, we're
for
one
sure.
mind. Okay, I don't have a
Right.
problem with
Yeah.
that. But the principles of the argument are the same. There's a difference between Bitcoin and what people think the Bitcoin standard is. That's the issue. And I think that that's an in-house debate. And I think we should be very careful about going after each other's throats when we're all on the same side of sound money. Now, I personally believe Bitcoin is sound money, much more so than gold. I also will temper that, saying I don't think it will ever develop into sound money without a side-by-side evolution of sound commercial banking. And I think Hayek presents that same issue.
Yeah, part of it is that Bitcoin continues to develop. I just had an article out a couple days ago talking about Lightning Network, right? Lightning, forever, people have been saying Lightning Network, that's going to save the transaction fees, the speed. We've been waiting for that for a long time. What we finally have now is interfaces where it is as easy to use Lightning Network as it is to use a credit card. It's actually easier. It takes you 5 minutes to get started with that. You get started with a credit card, it's going to take longer than 5 minutes. We are finally at the point where Bitcoin is legit as, like to go out and buy something. In fact, they did 28,000 transactions down at Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador. 20,000 transactions. Total transaction fees for those 20,000 was $4.98. It's 1/40th of a penny per. You go to a credit card, you're paying 1% to 2%. All right. So that is 4,000 times cheaper than the typical credit card transaction. It's 500 times cheaper than a credit card transaction on the iconic buying with coffee. All right. On a $5 cappuccino, you're going to pay 500 times higher transaction fee using a credit card. So Bitcoin has, as of a couple months ago, finally arrived as a medium of exchange. Now, it was that back in 2013, 2012, and then Bitcoin got popular, the fees came up. But at this point, Lightning Network is fantastic. It is much better than what we had in 2013, because you still had to wait 10 minutes, whatever. So you've got instant, you've got a 40th of a penny for the, unless you're doing some.
Right. But that's not the, I'm of one mind of this. That's not the issue. Right. It really boils down to, do the ends justify the means? And I agreed with George that I don't think it is. And I don't think it's even practical to say that. I don't think it's even pragmatic. What you're saying are all pragmatic things that, I agree. That's
right. So,
but that's not the issue of what he's raising,
All right. So let's let's focus on Seljan's problem with El Salvador. So he had an article recently. He had a couple of different complaints like sovereign risk, but I think all those came from the fundamental thing, which is that he was really uncomfortable with Article 7, right? Article 7, I don't know how long you've gone through it on this video, but Article 7 says not only do you have to accept Bitcoin for debts, right? You have to accept it for
everyday transactions, right?
And somebody comes to offer you Bitcoin, you have to accept it. Now, why did they do that? All right, there were a couple reasons. First off, remittances in El Salvador are massive, right? They're 22% of GDP. For perspective, that's comparable to what oil does in Saudi Arabia. All right, this is tremendous. Remittances are a big deal. About 22% of GDP, probably substantially more than that in terms of the percent of families that get remittances. Because the country's so poor, for those families, remittances are a big deal. And the reason he put in 7 is in order to stop what he termed discrimination against those people. So in other words, if they're getting their money in Bitcoin, and then when they go to spend it, they have to convert that into US dollars, either at a bank or at a currency exchange or whatever, then they're going to get socked maybe a couple percent, maybe higher on the transaction fees. All right. So what he was trying to do is to protect those remittance recipients so that they can participate in the whole economy. Now, he put in something in there saying that if you don't have the technological capability, you don't have to accept it. So he's thinking of the...
I've read the bill. I know, I understand the bill. I understand. You know what? I get the arguments, but you haven't overcome the objection yet. I understand why, and and I also, and so I think, and George does too. George does not ignore any of these issues.
Right.
He's not ignoring them.
Right. Well, just finish that thought real quick. So effectively what you're doing, you're making life easier for the remittances. You're making life a little bit harder for McDonald's on a practical level. But now onto the moral question, which is what you're raising here, from a purely ANCAP perspective, absolutely. Legal tender is an abomination. It's none of government's business what you accept. Up until 1862, we didn't have legal tender in this country. We had it in almost no country.
Well,
right?
no, we did. And this is another issue that I've addressed. Right. Legal tender is in our Constitution. Okay, so I think it's a very fundamental question. Slavery is also in our Constitution. There was a means. Unfortunately, we went through a terrible, bloody civil war to end slavery, and I'm saying that perhaps legal tender in the Constitution is just as big a mistake as slavery, and then there's all those things. I mean, there's. At the very same conference, Ron Paul said, I've worked all my life to repeal legal tender laws. This is what, maybe basically you're taking the other side. No, we need to make Bitcoin legal tender. And when a lot of us, me included, say, well, no, we need to get rid of legal tender. That is an oxymoron. They are two polar opposite positions.
Okay, so 2 points. Sticking strictly with liberty. We're not talking practicality here, right? Just sticking with liberty. All right, first off, so under the standard that El Salvador has, on the one hand, a seller, right? Sellers can still reject anything else in the whole world. They must accept US dollars and they must accept Bitcoin. They can reject 180 other currencies, 4,000 cryptos. They can reject Harrah's casino chips. They can reject beaver pelts. So instead of say 7,000 rejections, now they have 69.99 rejections. Meanwhile, the buyer in El Salvador they went from one option, US dollars, to 2 options. So from a liberty perspective, it is a wash. But the wider question, if it's on the table to get rid of all legal tender for US dollar, for Bitcoin and everything in between, yes, I'm there. But that's not what's on the table. What's on the table is that all these countries have legal tender laws for their own currency. And finally, there's one currency which is not government run. Finally, there's one currency which gets to join the party. And now all the libertarians are pissed off at the newcomer? Where was the anger?
I don't think we're not. I'm not angry at it. I'm
No,
the biggest
but I
supporter.
mean,
George says he's not angry at it. I don't detect any pissed off or anything. He's
just
that,
dissatisfied.
that's no. Let's not go there because that's not what he doesn't. He comes across as a very reasonable man. He's outlined his
He
reasons,
is.
and he says, you know what? Let's, influencers. Here it is. You know what? It should have been vetted. You know, before this. That's one of the problems, and maybe you're absolutely right, but the discussion needs to be raised. And I haven't closed you up, but I'm not calling the other side names. I'm disappointed because they're calling George names, and I'm offended him. I'm really disappointed. He's a sound money advocate. He's a freedom advocate. He loves Bitcoin. He's not and that frustrates me because it's really, he's being treated very unfairly.
No, I agree. And George and also Larry White, he had a debate over at Port
I wish
Fest.
Richard
Both these
Timberlake was
guys-
alive because these are my mentors, guys.
Yeah,
These are real,
and
and
these
they're
guys-
not
right.
they're not blowing smoke. These are real. They're real.
Yeah, so right. No, I agree. Go easy on him. He needs some time. I have faith in George.
Well,
Larry
and the
was-
other thing is we might be wrong on this thing. This could blow up. I mean, and I tweeted that out. I somebody from San Salvador, yeah, we don't want your Americans to figuring out our foreign policy. I mean, if nothing else, I'm not saying there's anything corrupt. Not saying it's a dictatorship or anything, but it's unseemly. It was bad appearances. You don't have a major, monetary policy and then announce it at a trade show. That was bad. I mean, that's bad politics.
that
At the
was
very
marketing.
least, it's
He's
bad
a
politics.
marketer.
We're promoting. I get it. You're promoting Bitcoin, and I've got this company that I get it. But that's it's kind of like. No, I don't want to. It used to be, Coca-Cola had China and Pepsi had Russia. And you got all these shitcoiners going down. No, we want in on this action. Let's calm down. Address the issues and try and do it right. This is a worthy discussion. It just is. And I think it's something that should not and it cannot be ignored. It really shouldn't, because we're being very, Hayek calls it a pretense of knowledge, and that's what I'm seeing. A lot of the people that are all they've been is the tech part. All they've been into is Bitcoin, and I get it. Okay, I understand that, but they forgot there's a foundation that came well before them that made why people were even thinking about this. And so I do think we have to be careful, and we have to walk very softly in the way that we conduct ourselves. And I've been accused of everything over this thing. Calling I get it. I'm familiar with San Salvador to a degree. 40 years ago, I was invited. I was at Sound Money conferences. A lot of the families from San Salvador were there. They would relate their problems. This has been going on for a long time down there. And I think I'm just. I was locked up 11 years, and when I came out, I can't believe the progress and thought that we've had when it comes to sound money and economics from where it was back in it was a lonely crowd back then in the 1980s, in the 70s, and probably in the 90s too. But so
for sure,
and that's. It was very lonely then. So we are influencers now, but that's even the reason why we need to be more cautious. And I have no doubt Jack Mallers' intentions. I mean, you can't help but get caught up in his passion. I loved it. That's great. I don't want to get rid of that. There's no way I want to kill. That's what we need. I'm not against that.
No, absolutely. I mean, I just want to make sure that we don't have a double standard here where, our side or somebody who's pro Bitcoin.
I don't think there's
does a
sides. I think
marketing-
there's room for there's in-house debates, and that's what I think this
For
is
sure.
this is what it should be. This is why we can address these hard issues in a hard, friendly way and walk out friends, and we're going to understand each other a lot better when it's all said and done.
I agree. That's my general policy. I don't friendly fire. I try to ease people on our side over to where I think they're making a mistake. But I will say, the passion, the intensity, the Bitcoin, fandom, the cyber hornets, God bless them. All right,
Oh yeah,
because, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you follow me at all or not, but I teach HODL and then save.
I follow
and
you
build
on Twitter.
And I go sound money. I don't go Bitcoin. I'm for sound money. Now, I think Bitcoin is sound money. I think Bitcoin is digital gold. That's a separate argument. But in the end, I don't care if it's Bitcoin. I want sound money, and that's the key to this thing. You look like you've been around a while. How long have you been in the sound money?
Man, that hurts.
Looks
That
like you've
hurts.
been into it since before Bitcoin.
Dude, I'm 25, man. That hurts. No. I've been a fan since 2014 was my first article over at Mises. That was actually the first Bitcoin article, and every occurrence of the word Bitcoin in the article, we had to change out the cryptocurrency so that it didn't look like we were, being too slavishly rah-rah. But anyway,
I remember I wrote an article. What do I say, Bitcoin or crypto? And now I just say, now I make a distinction.
I know. Well, it wasn't politicized back then. You could pretty much say either way. But anyway, up until that article, every hard money article at Mises had been gold.
Yeah.
Because that's what people were into.
Right.
So
I
that was,
I know.
that like broke the seal. And Mises is fantastic now on Bitcoin. Excellent.
So, no, I get it. It took me, I was told about Bitcoin way back, when I remember when it first went over, but I didn't look at it seriously until August of 2013. And then when I did and started looking, I say, wow, I didn't have any hesitation. This is, when you understand what makes it distinctive, it is something that and this is what I write about. Now, again, I don't expect people to agree with my view, but I do try and give my thinking and why I think that way. But basically, I wrote an article that says Bitcoin is sound money, and this is what F.A. Hayek, or what is it? Bitcoin is the standard. And according to F.A. Hayek, because in one of his articles back in 1986, he outlined, he said, well, there's going to be just one standard that emerges. There's not going to be competing standards. And it's going to be this one standard that is going to compete with government money. And beyond that, now, I think a lot of people think it's going to be a world reserve currency. It's going to be used as, maybe, I'm not saying it won't. I don't think so. That's my view. But because I don't have the same view that it's going to be used as cash or the same view that it's going to be a world reserve currency, does not mean I don't believe in Bitcoin, that it's not the standard, and that it's, it is going to be, it is, it is the standard that's going to be used internationally by those that you're not subject to any jurisdiction. And to me, that's the big risk, that we're facing, is not the exchange risk or anything like that, but it's jurisdictional risk. And every time you get Bitcoin, wherever it is, in that you're going to have that jurisdictional risk because it's subject to seizure. And so that there is this use of Bitcoin that is apart from any jurisdiction, and that's your HODL. And the rest of it, and that's what I teach. So I think jurisdictional risk is going to be, because I'm sorry, but most of the world is socialist. If you have something, they want it for nothing. Yep. And that's just human nature.
I agree. And, ever since the beginning, I think all of us have been concerned about governments trying to ban it or trying to harass people who buy it. They can't ban it, but they can chase people down enough that a lot of people are afraid to use it. That's quite easy for them. They've done that sort of thing in the past. But what surprises me in that is that people like George, I mean, that's specifically the reason. This is why, when he moves the conversation to gold or currency board, the hankies into, when he moved the conversation over there, you're in fantasy land. You're counting angels on the head of a pin. Yeah, maybe a gold-backed currency would be fantastic, but it ain't going to happen. That ship has sailed a long time ago. Government's not going to let it happen.
If you read Saifedean, he actually says the best way to attack Bitcoin would be for governments to restore the gold standard. I don't rule that out. In fact, and if they really want to attack it, that's, bring me sound money so I'm not afraid to do business in your jurisdiction. I think that's a very real possibility. And not only that, Bitcoin will then serve as the catalyst or the functionary to keep the game honest. In other words, something we didn't have before. And I think that's Hayek's view. I don't think he never saw it, and maybe he's wrong. He's a theoretician. And I'm a big fan of his. He never saw what the standard. He actually called it the standard, which I recommend we call the standard. Whatever two Satoshis over, call that the standard, because I think that's going to be the standard. I don't have any problem with that, but he never thought the standard, at least initially, or ever, would be used as in day-to-day transactions. That would still be the prerogative of the government. I mean, look, seigniorage was a legitimate way for government revenue without any taxation. They're providing money.
Sure. Yep.
They're actually able to. I mean, I grew up under silver and gold coins, and there was a seigniorage, the difference between the face value of that silver and what a dollar was, which was defined in gold. And that service, but the silver coins were taken just as though it was a 20th of an ounce of gold, because it was, okay? And they just happened to make the coinage out of something with a closer intrinsic value. But they still got the spread. You still have these coins that would, they'd be lost or destroyed in some way. And so that's a way that governments can raise revenue without any taxation whatsoever. And it's a very legitimate function of government too, I think. So
now, if we talk about getting back to the gold standard, though, that brings up something interesting, which is that forever in the gold community, the problem has been that, yes, you can sketch scenarios where gold comes back, all right, where people, the public loses faith in paper dollars and they say, to hell with this, let's go back. Why do we know this? Because this has happened many times in the past. Many countries have played with, in the US, right, in the early colonial period, every state was minting paper like it was going out of style, right? Rhode Island, Massachusetts, they were all competing to print money. And that's why specifically in the Constitution, the only mention in the Constitution of legal tender is it says states shall not, I don't know the exact phrasing.
Nothing but gold and silver shall be legal tender.
Bingo, there you go. Yeah. Because of the trauma of that paper money.
Right.
So many times paper money has gone back to gold. The issue is that all of us assumed that it was going to take some horrible US dollar trauma. All right, it was going to take a Fed gone wild. It was going to take a nuclear this or that, a zombie apocalypse. What is ingenious about what El Salvador did is that they've brought it out, no trauma needed. Bitcoin and dollar can live side by side in harmony as friends. And if Bitcoin is the better man, then it will gain more market acceptance. Its volatility is a barrier for now, yes. But first of all, that doesn't really matter for medium of exchange. If you are carrying $50 in your pocket and it's an inflationary $50, so you lose half of it every year, who cares? Okay. Is it easy to use? What are you losing?
And I get that. Okay, I understand all what you're saying, but is it really necessary? I guess that's my question. And
it depends what you think the odds of that zombie apocalypse are. If those odds are pretty low, we're going to be waiting a long time. We've been waiting. in the 70s, people thought the zombie apocalypse was coming, and then Volker shows up. So, is it going to take another 50
I
years?
agree. I lived in the 70s. I know. I mean, who was it? The guy that wrote International, Doug Casey, was saying $6,000 gold way back, and who knows when. No, believe me, I get it. No, I guess my thing is these are not easy. It's a great time to be alive. I mean, I love being in the middle of
Yeah.
this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it. So I'm not complaining. But I think what I got out of George was say, hey, be careful here, and go slowly. It wasn't really thought out that well, and maybe it was, but I thought he wrote an excellent article, and I thought the concern should be addressed. And I do think it was not well done. It was unseemly the way it was done.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the way he did it. No, it's fantastic. Look, Barack Obama does some clever marketing thing, and everybody goes so bold, so courageous, so innovative.
Okay.
No. I'm not going to give our side crap for the same thing.
All right. I get it. That's what I'm glad to hear the other side. So there you go.
All right, go. Thanks. It was a
All
pleasure.
right, you bet. All right, guys, there we go. All right, I think we are done. Good discussion, guys. There you go. George, I hope you watch this and, love Bitcoin, love sound money. We're going to make mistakes all the way through here. And, the question is, are we on the right track in San Salvador? Well, I think in a lot of ways we are. We certainly had the excitement up. It certainly caught a lot of people's attention, and it's certainly something that should not be ignored. And but George, you're a sound critic, and I'm listening to you and hope to hear more from you, because I think we do need a little bit of tampering on the things that we do here. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.